offside line at the ruck, so the halfbacks have to be further back. They can't go.
Good, thank you.
Tatu koutou, now my koutou hui o ki Puari, Puri o Kāwhia. Greetings to you all and welcome to today's Kāwhia Community Board meeting. It is 4:05 and I now declare the meeting open. If I could have the opening. Karakia, please.
Tuatahi mihi atu kia rātou kua whiturangi tia, o whiohi atu rā ki ngā whipuna, haere atu rā moi rā. Tuarua e mihi atu kia te kolomatua Max, o tira kia tānia te tumu whakarai o te kaunihira o Otorohonga, tēnā porua. O tira, tēnā tātou katoa. I mua tō tātou hui, kia ino tātou. Whakataka te hau ki te uru, whakataka te hau ki te tonga. Kia mākina ki uta, kia mātaratara ki tai. E hi ake ana te atakura, he tio, he huka, he haupu, nō reira, tihei, mauri ora. Tēnā tātou katoa.
Apologies. I have apologies from board member Dave Walsh. Could I have someone look at those apologies be accepted and give a second? Board member Harper. All those in favour? Against? Public forum, we have no public forum members today. Late items, there are no late items. There's no declarations of interest on the two decision reports that we've got made. Here is there? No. Confirmations of the minutes of the last meeting. Is there anything, matters arising or corrections from those minutes?
Well, just a couple of quick questions, Mr. Chairman, on page 12 of where we're talking about the parking. Yeah, talking about the boat parking. Item B, staff investigating the overall parking situation in Kāwhia. I appreciate it's only been a month since we passed that resolution, but I just wondered whether they'd made a start on any of that work. Were you able to find out?
Graham's online, but my understanding is that the sequence of events was to look at progress in the lease first and see where that ended up and then bring back report. Did you get that, Graham? Is that correct?
Yeah, thanks, Tony. Yeah, I guess there's two parts to it. Is the I guess the report on the boat park and since the last meeting, Councillor Jeffries, our property manager Kerry Downs and Jamie Tamaki met with some of the owners of the boat park, and it was a very productive meeting. I think one of the keys from that meeting is that they will need to possibly form an Ahu Whenua Trust, to actually.
Hang on, we really got to hear. I'll just see.
I can't hear it.
Let's see if Dave turns it up.
Richard restores it.
Okay.
The inside. I'll turn to the right. Just barely.
Having a technical upgrade here, Graham.
Yeah, I've just turned my volume right up too. Is that better?
No.
Can you just talk a wee bit, please, Graham?
Yeah, just turn my volume up. Is that better?
Really no. We do a sound check, Graham, please.
Yeah, it's talking.
That's about as best we'll get. You carry on, Graham.
Yeah, just saying that our property manager and Councillor Jamie Tamaki met with the owners. So that was a very productive meeting, and we'll come back to the board with some options in due course.
Great, thank you. Anything else? No. Right, I'll move that the minutes of the last meeting be taken as a true and correct record.
Yeah.
Thank you. Moving on to decision reports, item number 35, page 19 on the agenda. Or page 18, sorry, in the agenda. And we'll have a presentation from Mr. Bunn, Graham Bunn, Group Manager of Business Enablement. The floor is yours, and we'll be very quiet, Graham. So it's very it's hard here.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chair. So I'll just recap as at the last board meeting, the board rescinded the previous resolution to recommend to council to adopt fees and charges relating to the Kāwhia Community Centre, and asked staff to I guess go away and look at some options that would cater for some of the volunteer users that use the hall, and that the proposed fees and charges wasn't quite going to fit. So we went away, and I think between Kaya and myself tried to I guess look at what the aspirations of the board were in this report, and hopefully we've captured those in the resolution. But I guess, you know, happy to discuss it further, and happy if that resolution doesn't quite meet where you were intending, and we can change it still.
The board members have a good read of this.
Yeah, I do. I have one concern, and that is the under B,
What page?
page 19,
Correct, yeah.
the recommendation. And I just wanted to, if it was possible, that if we're going to allow regular users to just to use it with no costs or whatever, if we could build into that some sort of report back. So that group should like appear to come to the board, say every quarterly, and just give us an update and a progress to make sure it's still the same faces involved, the same names involved. And that, I just think that's a good
safety belt.
Yeah, a good step for us to have in place.
But the you know, the guts of the report.
I'm all good with them.
We'll with you.
I totally.
Yep.
Yeah. Anything else?
Just one quick question, Mr. Chairman. It's on the next page, actually, on page 20. Through you, can I ask Graham, the table on page 20 where you've outlined the charges for private and commercial and the non-profit groups, and the bond for both is 200. But the question I had was, should there be a bond for regular users who are not paying highage? And because if cleaning or maintenance is required, who carries that out? Who pays? So it's I don't know, it's just something that sort of struck me that they're getting a pretty good deal having the hall for free, but we're not actually taking anything as a surety against any future damage or cleaning. It was just a thought, so I'll just open that up for discussion if you want to, Mr. Chairman.
Good point, Graham. Would anything need to change with this resolution if we had left that? Because we haven't discussed the bond, eh? We could leave that in there as a bond for 200 for the support for the charity groups, but then there would be one that would have a great difficulty raising the $200.
Yeah, I guess we possibly just need to change the resolution just to reflect that, Mr.
We'll leave it as it is. I can understand your concerns, Councillor Jeffries.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're getting a pretty good deal now, and the ratepayers are pretty much paying for it. So if there was any problems of, I just say that a window was broken or the floor was damaged and we've got to repair it, they shouldn't get away scot-free with that. That's what I'm trying to get at. Should be taking a contribution.
Well, maybe we could word, but there would be one group that couldn't get the blood at all.
I think it would be hard for these groups, yes, to come up to it. But yeah, there should be some accountability. That was what I was trying to do with saying to them, they should appear before us every quarter. But if there is damage in some group, wouldn't we just approach them and say, you know, that, because I think it's going to be very hard for them. You know, they struggle. They can't afford the hall hire. Where are they going to get the $200 to hand over?
Well, we could leave it as it is and then just use our discretion if damage happens, because they're all our community.
Yeah,
And they won't leave us.
and if we've got that thing in there, as I say, coming to see us every quarter, we can raise those issues with them. They haven't disappeared off the map.
That would be an expectation that we give them as a board, rather than.
And I think, through you, Mr. Chair, accountability is also important as well, just to, you know, like just check in, just to, so, you know, just to be accountable as well.
And it's also up to us too to keep an eye on things, you know?
So
Because this could grow. And it is, and if the council do agree to it, it's a very generous bloody subsidy that gets coming back to Kāwhia.
Well, I'm glad that the resolution includes at the board's discretion, because I wouldn't like to think that having passed it, it then becomes open slather.
Yeah, absolutely. And this does come down to us managing it as a board. And we will have to make some tough decisions, but.
There was just one other question, Mr. Chairman, and it was just a point of clarification, Graham. On page 22, item 5.3, the first sentence, staff also note, blah, 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 gold donation would need to specify participants only, or all parties. And I wasn't too sure what was meant by all parties. Can you just define that or clarify that?
Yeah, I can. Like, I guess, Kaya may want to say something here too. We did consider this, and it's just the, I guess that it's a great idea, but it's just the kind of the administrative side of actually collecting that, Councillor Jeffries. And so, you know, there's no banks in Kāwhia. You know, someone would have to hold the money. In some things like the for example, like with the Kai for All, you know, it's not participants, you know, it's kind of, you know, and so you would have to kind of have a whole another set of rules again, and just to administer it. And I think, you know, but Kai and I had quite a bit of discussion over it, and it was just going to be just too administratively difficult to and probably cost more in terms of staff time than the actual amount of money that you would collect.
I thought this year, certainly looking at the recommendation that you and Kaya put together, it's all encompassing, but it is relying a lot on us being self-policing without being too draconian, you know, with all the other bits and pieces that are around the place. So it does come down to us making sure that this works, because this is, if it goes through council, this is a substantial subsidy. At least we're getting a bit of some of our rates back that we're picking up. You're lucky I'm not going to the lot.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, you may want to change the resolution just with Richard's proposal around reporting back. You may want to add that into the resolution.
So through you, Chair Graham, are you thinking at the end B, if we just add on with quarterly report back to the board on home use, just something
group participation, something on those lines.
Yeah, and that just closes the loop then, and then you can, you know, you've got them reporting back on the activities that they're undertaking, how it's going, you know, plus if there's any other issues that the board sees.
Through the chair, the recommendation to council is to allow the board to develop its own criteria. So you could have a criteria for acceptance, you could have conditions around it, and that would be the next phase of the project, or the process.
Right, the resolution, do you want me to read the resolution out or take it as read? Will we vote on it? So this is page 3, page 19. And the staff recommendation number 3. The whole page. Take it as read. Can I have a mover for that, please? Board member Harper, second.
Second.
All those in favour? Carried. Thank you, board members. Moving on to decision report number 2, this is item 36, page 26, Kāwhia Community Board discretionary fund. Oh, sorry, page 25. And again, it is Mr. Bunn. Was he?
Oh yeah, I did, I'll tell you. Yeah, so yeah, this is a pretty straightforward report. Yeah, so it's just I guess recommending to council that the board can carry forward any unused balance in that discretionary fund to the following financial year. We generally don't carry forward operating balances, but I think in this case, and I've written a similar report to the Aotearoa Community Board as well. You know, there's certainly I guess benefits for the board to be able to carry those funds forward. You know, and it just means that you're not rushing to try and spend them all at the end of the financial year. And if you have got a balance there, you can carry it forward. So yeah, just happy to take any questions.
Any questions? It's a fairly simple
Resolution,
resolution.
I like it.
Support that.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Yep. And I'd like to thank Councillor Jeffries for bringing this to the fore.
Yeah, so does that mean, Graham, you're going to have to create some sort of a reserve account for the community account? Does it?
Yeah, we'd just treat it like we do the other carryovers, Councillor Jeffries. You know, so it basically becomes a budget carryover. You know, so if you've got a budget of 5,000, say, in next financial year, you've got $2,000 of unspent discretionary fund from this financial year, then that budget's carried forward to the next year, so your budget becomes $7,000 for the following year. So it's similar to what we do with our capital works, where there's any unfinished or unstarted capital projects. The difference there is that they're generally loan funded, you know, so you're carrying forward the funding as well. But yeah, it's not difficult. But effectively, what's happening with those unspent funds, it was getting carried forward in the balance of the Kāwhia community account, where all your rates funding goes, you know, so it doesn't get siphoned off to into the general fund. So it's still carried within Kāwhia, but I think this just makes it a little bit more transparent.
Any other questions?
Very good. I'll make the recommendation.
Yeah,
I'll
move.
second.
Yep, good move. And a second. All those in favour?
Aye.
Thanks, carried. Thank you, Graham and Kaya, for the input into those two motions.
Yeah, just although you've passed the resolution, just around the I probably should have spoken to this earlier too, around just having some I guess guidelines around those funds, and you'll see I've made comment in the report there that I guess the intent with those discretionary funds is to kind of make them is, I wouldn't say loose is probably not quite the right word, but you know, it's sort of the intent of them is it's not just a grant fund. They can be used for anything that the board want to, you know, like it could be used for a small community project. It doesn't have to be a grant to another organisation. So and I guess that's the whole idea of them being called discretionary. And I think Councillor Jeffries will recall this. I mean, in the past we've used that discretionary fund. I think one year we funded the barbecue there, you know, so it can be used for anything that you want it to be used for. And it's totally at the discretion of the board we have put some loose terms of reference together, and it's basically just it's aligns with the community outcomes that it has to be used within Kāwhia Aotea. That's all. So yeah. And I guess you've got another board coming in 4 months' time, and they may have some different ideas on that. But that was, I guess, the reason behind it.
Thank you for that. Information only. Moving on to the agenda then, there's no information only reports. There are no public exclusive reports. Other business, board members, updates. Board member Hugh, board member Harper.
Well, I received that invitation to go to that BT home visit in Oklahoma. And I've got to say to you, it was a very enjoyable day. And they're doing a pretty good job there. And as I was saying to Kid earlier, they are the third biggest employer in the Oklahoma district. That's pretty good. And they've got an expansion plan going. They're going to try and raise $3 million for an expansion plan. And it looks pretty good. And they're trying to organise a Meals on Wheels. Well, they are doing Meals on Wheels. And they're trying to move it further out into the community, and they've their kitchen and all the rest of it. It's a very, very good little operation. Yeah, very good. I was very impressed with it. The other thing is I went to the forestry meeting, and that was all good and excellent. Except about 5 days later, I got stuck behind 3 trucks that are not supposed to be stuck together. So it's a little bit of a concern. So I don't know whether you're hearing anything else from the community. It's not really a moan on my part, but it's just to say that they were given assurances at that meeting, which I thought the meeting was good. But the practice of it's still difficult for people. And Tony, thank you very much for going with me to meet the oyster farm owners. I don't know whether there was any resolution to that matter or whatever else, but I know they felt pretty good about you turning up and them being able to share their problems with you, perhaps is the right term. So that was all good. The Koma tour group is still going extremely strong. There was actually about 25 people there today. Well, I think it was the biggest crowd. And I've got a harbour cruise on Raglan Harbour. I think for Matariki is in progress for that. And as I say, it's a good cross section of people up there. It's a very good day if anyone would want to pop in, and it'll be a good meal as well.
Just to clarify, that's the one that the board donate. They gave $1,500 discretionary fund. So if it's ramped up that group because of that, then great.
And the other thing is, boy races. I don't know whether we're going to touch it within the thing, but I've got to say to you that I'm of the opinion that maybe this board needs to go to, is it Kāwhia Incorporated, and ask them to close the gate at 4 o'clock at night and open it again at 6 in the morning. I don't really see another problem out of this. I don't think putting cameras down there will fix it, but I think that maybe we have to approach them and say, let's close the gate.
If I could just,
Otherwise, we put a bulldozer down here and take all the tar seal out so they can't be weird.
I'll let Tony answer that.
if I could just respond to that, board member. So there have been quite a bit of korero with TKI around closing the gate. We have got a legal opinion, and so they have no powers to close the gate. We're the road council is the road controlling authority, and we've got very limited occasions when we can legally close the road. Boy races is not one of them. So we've explored that with TKI quite extensively, and we have a letter on file back to their chair to advise them that ODC has no powers to close the gate for boy races, and nor do they. So that's not an option.
That's a damn shame, because it would have been a simple option.
We're constrained by the law.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm still thinking about it then, because they are creating some very upset people about it. And I don't know what we're going to do to get on top of it.
Yeah, well, Kāwhia can come up with a solution to that. We can patent it and sell it to the rest of New Zealand. That's for sure.
In the end, it's a vehicles on a road are a policing matter. We know that there's some challenges around having a local police person here. I understand there's someone being appointed at some point So my advice would be to advocate through channels to the commissioner, to the local, the regional commissioner, and advocate to get more police presence here. Maybe do a sting operation, but it really is policing that.
I do understand that.
Through you, Mr. Chair, just to follow up on that, I did send a photograph to the board members. My daughter went for a drive and she was quite shocked to see all the tyre marks at the end of French Grove. But also, I remember at one of our meetings, a few meetings ago, that we were going to have a presentation by the roading, is it Paul Strange? To talk about maybe some solutions, and one that we had spoken about was the signs, speeding signs down, because there's no speeding signs going down Waiwira Street on what the limit is down there. That's been brought up at a meeting, but nothing's been actioned from that. I recall that. I don't know whether the rest of you recall that.
Yes,
Yeah, that was outside the camping ground you're talking about.
Yes,
wasn't it?
yes.
Right.
So we had spoken, but the thing is, we've been talking about it, but there has been no action. And it's just carrying on.
So can I just clarify that? So there's no speed limit signs shown on Waiwira Street?
No, nothing.
Okay, we can take it.
Zero.
I don't think there's any speed limit signs anywhere inside the community boundary.
When we had that earlier discussion, I can remember suggesting that maybe we get some of those solar electronic signs. But, yeah, I'm not sure how effective they'll be with people who are determined to speed anyway, so certainly should be doing something, I think.
Thank you. Councillor Jeffries.
Well, thanks, Mr. Chairman. It's been a pretty quiet month, really, in some respects. We had, since our last community board meeting, I had quite a long discussion with the guy called Terry Johnson, who is, well, I think he could be described as a bit of a guru when it comes to security cameras. And so Terry was, I think there's something coming up on the agenda that might be a workshop or something, is it?
No.
Yeah. So I'll leave that one for we have the workshop, Mr. Chairman. He was quite interesting to talk to. 13th of May, we had an Adrian Council workshop and a briefing section there. And then on the 27th of May, we had our council our meeting, the ODC meeting. If anyone's interested in what those meetings are about, the agendas and the minutes are all on the council website, if you want to go there. And last Sunday, I went to the Aotea Ratepayers Society's annual general meeting, which was very well attended, and Jeff put on a very good report from the Kāwhia Community Board, which was read out at that meeting. And we had Ross and Cassidy turn up at that as well and talked about the concept plan and what's happening there, and just promoting the session that we've got coming up on this Saturday at 11 o'clock here in the hall. And that's pretty much it from me, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Quite a month. Yeah. Good.
Review.
Oh, tēnā tātou. So, since our last hui, I had sent out some emails with some draft copies of the sign. I just copied some out just for us to have a look at. So these are still in draft, but if you look at the bottom page. It's this one here. This is the same design, this one here. This is the same design that we've got on the road signs. And the other one is taken from our photo frame outside. But this design here is great looking from the road. Like it's more bolder. And and it's just trying to keep the same branding within our signs. So but there's that one. But I did bring this one to one of our meetings, but then it was suggested to have an image at the back, perhaps. And so I asked the printer if he could just give us a couple of options. Now, these images here are the same images that we've got on the Pahutakawa one is on this side of, on the left-hand side of the Otorohanga Turnov, and the Seaview one of the Moana is on the Otorohanga side before we turn off. But I also asked just to dim them, so it's a lighter photo and not so dark. But this is, I just photocopied them just to have a look at, but it's work in progress. That's something that we can discuss. Okay? And I also have the quote here from the print house who did all our signs, did the photo frame and the signs there for print house here. And the costing is $440 for a new sign to be printed up. And that's I gave him the measurements of the sign that's out there now. That's that Southwest cat one. Okay, so that's the one. That's the one we've been working on. But it'll be great if we can like move on this. I've been bringing this to the meetings for the last probably 6 meetings. I started the conversation, so it'll be good to actually.
Would you like to talk about that if we can?
Yeah.
Could I just add to that, Mr. Chair? So the roading team has looked at these, they've endorsed any of these sites, and we've got budget to fund that, so it's been confirmed.
It's great.
And what sign?
Yes. So,
How do we go about making this honest? Because I've got a preference.
My suggestion is it's probably an operation unit. So you could either do it as part of the decision as an operation or after the meeting's closed, if you want to make it.
Yeah. I'm happy for after the meeting today, so but these are just all proofs. Things we can change around, like we can actually use one print and put another photo on and all that kind of. I know from one meeting Dave liked the slant one, not the straight one, so that's why I got a slant, a slopey one put in there. So you know, there's lots of options we can discuss. So that's that one. The final part of my report is part of my mahi is organising the Matariki Kaumātua Ball, which is a celebration of our kaumātua. They work in the front of our marae and at the back of our marae, and we've had a good response from our Kāwhia Moana marae. So this event is happening at the Hamilton Gardens on the Friday, the 13th of June, and it's by invitation. But I just wanted to bring it to this table because there's a good representation from our Kāwhia marae. And it's a way of Waikato Tainui saying thank you for all the mahi that our kaumātua do on our marae here in Kāwhia Moana and Aotea and over the harbour. Nō reira, tēnā tātou, that's me, thank you.
I'm a short one, just like I've noticed a real improvement in the garden around Kāwhia. They've had a good effort at the Wairera Street intersection, and just a heads up to the contractors for that. The town's looking tidy, and Aotea's looking tidy as well. So thank you very much.
Well, on that, are they going to? They've done one side of the garden with red cloth and shrubs and everything, but the other side doesn't look like it's had anything done.
You'll give you a call, maybe.
I just, I've got a query about that too. It's been raised with me. The shrubs are put on the intersection. How high are they going to get?
I don't know.
Because when those weeds were a bit loose there and they got away, people on smaller vehicles were having trouble seeing over the top of them. So I'm just hoping those shrubs remain very small, very low.
Councillor Jeffries might include that with his query.
Yeah, well, I found that hedge trimmers are quite good.
Creating work, isn't it? And yeah, and just and thanks to the council ODC representation at the ARS AGM with Kit and Ross and Cassidy there. One thing Aotea won't accuse anyone of us as not getting consulted on things, and it's Aotea's moving along quite rapidly with the plans that are coming forward, and there is some big consultation dollars being spent there and here, because Aotea tends to get left out of the day ones that are here. So yeah, thank you to that three bangers that all turned up. It was well received by Aotea too. And I did the 13th of May workshop again with board member councillor Jeffries. And that's me.
Very good.
Board projects is part of your.
No, that's separate. So the board projects, the Kāwhia storyboards is the storyboards that we've been working on. It's work in progress, but we've got to a stage that I'll bring the narratives to this forum. We were actually thinking, you know how you got the barcodes? To put the barcodes on there so they're not so busy. So we're just looking at those options at the moment. So you get a barcode on your phone and you can just barcode the narrative and have that on your, otherwise the boards will look too busy. But at our next hui, I'll look at bringing the narrative and a proof of what that could look like.
Is this for down here?
Oh, that board there?
Yeah.
No, this is the storyboards that we've got in sites of significance. But that board there, we can start looking at that too.
Yeah.
I can follow that up and I'll bring that at the next meeting too, Kit.
Cool.
Yeah, because Lloyd can look at that. Yeah.
That'd be good. It's needed a bit of TLC for.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Board member for you. Community board discretionary fund, there's no applications for the discretionary fund, and with council approval on our motion resolution, on our motion, we should have some. There's no great rush now. We'll roll things over. The resolution register, we've got a bit of work to do on that. Go to page 30, please, board members. So you've got there's a heap of resolutions on there that we need to tidy up. I'm assuming that you've all read them, and we all can go straight to page 31, where it's the motion is that the Kāwhia Community Board approve. Is there any questions on any of those resolutions?
Just the one on the it's K91.
Yeah.
To do with the removal of the cow trees.
Yep.
I think, Tony, did you say earlier that there's a report on that today?
So what I was thinking is we could have a briefing after the meeting's closed, because I know you had some queries around it. We'll have Mark online, and he can update you on what the thinking is.
Okay, but
It doesn't really relate to the resolution, I don't think.
no.
That one's staying there anyway, Kit.
Yes, it is.
So this is only which resolutions do we remove as being removed. So if you look at that the Kāwhia Board, Community Board approved parts A and B and C, which is resolution 26 there. Let me confuse there. Resolution. What resolution is that? Part A.
Right, John, it's on page 29, first resolution.
Oh, and A. Yeah, that's the first. Okay, so we've done that. Okay, so if you have a look at that, part A, part B, and C, which is the first resolution, that's setting of fair and reasonable rates and who pays. We've done that.
Yep.
So that's a tickets can be removed. Revolution K99. Yep, we've done that. That's our resolution with increase. So yeah, we've done that. And resolution K100. This is to tidy up that notice board because we've made motions on that. That could be removed. K108. K108. And we've tidied that one. That's the late item to work on our fees and charges. So they can all be removed.
Oh, sorry, through you, Mr. Chair. K100.
K100.
From my memory, that is no longer, and yeah, that's what they're saying. Yeah.
And that removes all the others.
Yeah.
So we'll have a reasonably clean register next time. Okay, the motion is that the Kāwhia Community Board approve. Can I take that as read, board members? Will have a mover? Board member Harper? And second, Councillor Jeffries. Very good, let's tidy our paperwork up. What have we done? Oh. Later. Right, can I call on board member Hugh for our closing?
Tēnā tātou. O tino pai tō tātou hui i te aihangi nei. No reira, the mutunga ka karakia tātou katoa. Let's all read our karakia from the back of our. We'll do the reo Māori first and then we'll do our English. No reira, tēnā tātou. Ma te whakapono, ma te tūmanapo, ma te titiro, ma te whakamomo, ma te mahi kahi, ma te aroha, ma ka taia e tātou. By believing and trusting, by having faith and hope, by looking and searching, by listening and hearing, by working and striving together, by all being done with compassion, we will succeed. Nō reira, tēnā tātou.
And it being 4:46, I declare the meeting closed. But stay seated.